Tom Thwaites.
Oh man, that is beautiful.
Is the man who makes things from scratch.
Yeah, look at that. That is metal.
He's an inventor who takes raw materials from the ground
Check it out.
and turns them into his version of the mass-produced objects we can't live without.
It's working! I want to get to grips with the extraordinary technology that surrounds us, but we just take for granted.
In this series, Tom is facing a new challenge.
Ah, it's hot! Yes, yes!
Can he make 4 everyday items using only raw materials from the UK
Look at that!
and his own handiwork?
I can do it.
Revealing the story
Whoa.
of our industrial heritage,
Ding.
hidden in the simplest of objects. This week, Tom is going to build a toaster from scratch. And this is one product that is closer to his heart than any other.
For most of the human story, we've not had anything like this. It's just so specialised and so technical. But now we can just buy it for £5.
Tom made a toaster as a student. It was his first attempt to build something from scratch, and it's on show in the Science Museum. It took Tom a year to build, but the plastic case left room for improvement. The heating element couldn't handle the current, and when he finally plugged it in, it only worked for a second.
Well,
3 years later, Tom has come a long way and built a lot more.
let's fire it up.
And now, for his toughest challenge yet, he's ready to tackle the toaster once again.
So,
And this time, he's determined to succeed.
yeah. So, toasts. Let's see how it toasts.
A toaster works by heating a long, thin wire that distributes 700 degrees Celsius evenly along both sides of a slice of bread.
That's insane. Just that mechanism. It's a double scissor action to keep the bread evenly spaced.
Every year, Britons buy an astonishing 4 million toasters. Each one is produced using hundreds of components sourced from all over the world.
I'm desoldering what somebody in China has very recently soldered together.
By building one from scratch, Tom is taking on a challenge of global proportions.
There's easily over 100 different bits here. The heating element. So this is the bit of magic which gets the toast toasted. This wire is made of nickel and chromium, and that will resist the flow of electricity and heat up, and that's exactly what you need when you're trying to toast a slice of bread. The heating element has to be supported on something. This is mica, and it just looks like cardboard, but actually it's a naturally occurring mineral which is a very good insulator. There's a microchip, for crying out loud. A tiny computer inside a toaster.
The microchip controls the timing system, so every slice is toasted to perfection.
All of this complexity is just hidden under this kind of smooth plastic case. The defining feature of cheap consumer electrical products. Whereas we've had metal for thousands of years, we've only had plastic for the last 100 years. And that is because plastic is just so complicated to make.
Tom will focus on just 3 key components to build his toaster. A long, thin wire element that can resist the flow of electrical energy and convert it into heat. To support it, he needs a sheet of mica, a mineral that can withstand 700-degree toasting temperatures. And finally, a plastic case to house the bare electric wires and give the appearance of an ordinary domestic toaster. Plastic begins life in oil wells like these in the USA. And 2 billion barrels of oil are turned into plastic every year, enough to fill 130,000 Olympic swimming pools. The most common type is polythene, used in everything from plastic bags to children's toys. And this is what Tom's going to attempt to make. For his raw material, Tom has managed to find some black gold in mainland Britain, and he's travelling to Sussex to get some.
So these things are called nodding donkeys.
Beam pumps.
What? Beam
pumps. Everybody calls them nodding donkeys.
Oh, right.
But they're actually called beam pumps.
There are over 200 onshore wells in Britain. This one, near Brighton, produces oil that's the perfect grade for use in both aviation fuel and plastic.
That looks like oil to me.
There is a bit of oil there.
The oil is pumped up from a mile below ground and is available on tap.
Wino bottles.
Yeah.
Proper sample bottles.
Yeah. Some left in this one, Mick.
What in there?
On the job.
Right, we're going to open up the tank ready. Get nice and gently. It'll froth up. Gently, you go away.
This site has been operational for just over a decade, but crude oil started life millions of years ago.
This is the stuff.
It's a prehistoric soup of hydrocarbons made from a blend of fossilised plants and animals.
What does it taste like?
I don't think you'll enjoy it. Not very nice.
Yeah. The essence of dinosaur, isn't it? I guess.
Collecting the crude oil was easier than expected, but turning it into plastic polythene is a difficult three-stage process. First, fractional distillation separates the oil into its component parts, and naphtha is the one Tom needs. Second, the liquid naphtha needs breaking down or cracking under high temperature and pressure to make a gas called ethene. If he can make this gas, the third stage is to follow in the footsteps of Eric Fawcett and Reginald Gibson. They were experimenting with ethene gas at extreme pressures and heat, and in 1933 accidentally made an incredible new plastic, polythene. But it took 4 more years to replicate their discovery safely in production. Tom is going to attempt this complex chemistry in his own home, with apparatus that most people haven't seen since school.
When was the last time you used a Bunsen burner?
I don't know, 15 years ago or something.
And what did you have to do then?
I think I spent most of my time burning my pencil case. So yeah, Mr. Dibstall, here we are again. But this time, I'm doing it for real.
So, just like big industry, Tom's going to distill the crude oil to get naphtha, the component he needs to make his polythene toaster case. At the right temperature, the naphtha will become a gas, which can be extracted, then condensed, whilst leaving the other components behind.
So what's going on?
Some liquids boil at a higher temperature, some liquids boil at a lower temperature. But crude oil, it's basically just a big mixture of lots of different liquids. So the temperature now, okay, 50 degrees. Yeah, so the liquid's made of the lighter molecules. They're now boiling and turning to gas and then rising up here and then condensing in this column and dripping out the other end. One obvious way to see that is this is black and this is clear.
Naphtha makes up around 30% of crude oil and is used to make shoe polish, nail varnish remover and laundry soap. But the other components are used in everything from face creams to tarmacking roads.
It's working. Good. Right.
Remarkably, Tom has been able to make naphtha at home, and the first stage is complete. Now, he must try to convert the liquid naphtha into ethene gas. While naphtha was written about by the ancient Greeks and is even referred to in the Bible, polythene has been with us less than a century. Tom is going to have his work cut out.
And here we have the naphtha, which I just made.
What are you doing?
Just to demonstrate. As you can see, naphtha is very flammable, but to turn the naphtha into ethene, I need to crack it. Basically, turn those molecules with kind of 5 or 6 carbon atoms into molecules with 2 carbon atoms. And to do that, I need to take it up to a very high temperature and pressure, which is why I've got this pressure cooker.
This is one experiment that no one should ever try at home.
Should I move?
Yeah, you should move.
To even get close to plastic, Tom needs to see if he can create the gas ethene. That's what the original inventors of polythene accidentally combined with oxygen at very high temperature.
Is that on for real?
Yeah, it's on and the pressure is gradually building.
So what's going to happen?
Hopefully, I'll get ethene, or it'll explode.
Science is littered with mistakes and errors that have led to huge breakthroughs.
I'm coming in here with you.
Yeah.
But there's a danger. Tom's breakthrough could be through his roof, and he's realising it's never going to work.
Is this just a really dumb idea?
Probably.
Definitely the right choice.
I mean, who would have thought it would be so hard to make this stuff which is everywhere?
So how will Tom make his plastic toaster case? Can he find a British mine with his must-have miracle mineral?
I know there is a mine around here.
And will anyone toast his success?
We need toast! I'll do it, I'll do it.
Tom Thwaites is on a mission to make a toaster from scratch. And after attempting to make polythene with complex chemistry, he's had to admit defeat and had a change of heart.
So, rather than blow a hole in the roof of my flat, I have decided to make the plastic case for my toaster in a slightly more controlled manner. So, I bought some resin from Germany. This is guaranteed success in a jar.
Just like the polythene Tom tried to make, this resin began life as naphtha, the component of oil that Tom distilled in his kitchen. Only here, the dangerous chemistry was done by someone else. This time, he's making polyurethane, which comes in 2 parts, a resin base and a hardener. When they mix, a chemical reaction links all the molecules to make a permanent plastic that goes solid very quickly.
So I've been putting together this rotational moulding machine. The plan is I'm going to tip the resin into there and then spin it round, and then the resin is going to coat the inside of my mould.
Most simple plastic shapes can be made with conventional moulds, but in the 1940s, rotational moulds were introduced to make hollow plastics with even thickness and smooth edges. Today, they're still used to make things like traffic cones and canoes.
Oh no! Oh man! But I just need to try again. That's all. That's all. I just need to get some more resin, and I need to be a little bit quicker about tipping it in so it doesn't just all go hard in the jug. Okay? Ta-da! Wow, look at that. It's pretty good. I mean, look, that is smooth and hollow, which is exactly what you want in a toaster case.
With his plastic case complete, Tom needs to find a heat-resistant mineral called mica to hold the heating element. So he's heading to West Scotland's Knoydart Peninsula, officially the most remote place on mainland Britain.
So do you know where we are? Because I'm getting hungry. And we have been walking for hours.
I know there is a mine around here. See? We're not lost. This must be the old mine huts.
This mine was only operational during the Second World War when mica supplies from India were cut off. And the minerals from this site went into building the windshields of Spitfires.
This must be the mine.
This mine was crucial to the war effort, but never commercially viable. Luckily for Tom, there's still some mica just waiting to be found.
Look at that! Look at that! Check it out! Look at that, it's completely see-through.
And what's it for?
Well, this is very good at resisting heat. And so if I wrap a toaster element around there and it goes red hot, this mineral will still be able to hold it. That's why I've come to the side of a mountain in the Highlands to get this.
Mica contains silicon, aluminium and oxygen. It's often found in granite and is formed by millions of years of heat and pressure. Today, it's in the glitter in makeup and every single toaster in Britain.
I've got a lovely big bit for my toaster. All right, now we've got to get down before it gets dark.
Tom's collected the mica he needs, and it can go straight into his toaster with no additional work required. Now, he needs to make the amazing alloy heating element that resists a flow of electricity and heats up to 700 degrees. For this, Tom is opting for an artisan approach. He's come to Hatton Garden to borrow the wire-making tools of London's famous jewellery quarter.
So, why are we here, mate? What's going on?
So, the essential element of heating wire is nickel. I've got a bit of a cheat, some Canadian nickels. Most nickels aren't actually made out of nickel, but I found a special commemorative set.
Today, nickel coins are made from nickel-plated steel because pure nickel is too expensive.
Which I'm going to melt down to use for my toaster element. The guys here, they're working on jewellery worth tens of thousands of pounds, and I'm working on a nickel for a toaster. Equally valid, I think.
Modern toaster wires use an alloy of nickel and chromium, but chromium compounds can be toxic, so to create his alloy, Tom's using discarded copper pipe instead.
Whoops, chill out a bit, man. Okay.
By melting two different metals together, Tom is increasing their combined electrical resistance. So when he plugs his toaster in, the wires will glow red hot. To do this, he needs a blowtorch that can hit 1,500 degrees.
So cool, it goes bright red. Wow, amazing colours.
People first made alloys 4,500 years ago, when copper and tin were melted together at the dawn of the Bronze Age. They discovered that alloying made tools and weapons stronger than ever before. And ever since, humans have been combining metals to discover new materials.
Wow. It's a slug of nickel and copper. It's dark, everyone's gone home, but it's the first step. I am going to gradually go down each one of these smaller and smaller holes through this winding wire making machine until my slug becomes wire.
It takes Tom hours to squeeze his metal through the machine, but eventually his wire is complete.
So I've made my wire heating element and I got my mica from the side of the mountain and I've made my plastic case. I just need to put it all together and see if this thing is gonna toast when I plug it in.
After collecting all his materials, Tom works late into the night to complete his toaster, because come morning, he's taking it out on the road for the very first time.
Truck stop. Ashford International Truck Stop. These guys know their toast. You know, breakfast at like 4 a.m. in the morning is a very important meal.
The truckers at this stop transport mass-produced goods all over the world, and they need their toast before they get back on the road.
Hi, I've come to do some work at the cafe.
What are you doing here?
I've come to make toast.
You're going to make toast?
Yeah, I'll show you. This is a toaster that I made myself.
Yeah, I can see that.
Toasters can cost just £5, but Tom's latest creation has clocked up over 1,000.
Okay.
See, it's like an organic toaster.
We need toast.
He needs toast. I'll do it.
But is Tom's toaster up to the challenge?
Where's this toast, mate?
It's coming.
With hungry truckers ready for their full English, Tom's toaster needs to work first time.
This is a variac. It basically controls the voltage going to my toaster, because if I plug it straight into the mains, my toaster will just melt itself.
Come on, you got to finish his breakfast before you start.
Okay. Ah, it's hot. You can see it glowing red. I am toasting.
The first slice might be out the toaster, but the chefs need more convincing.
No, toast! That is toast! No. If you give that to my customer, I got slapped.
Just so harsh.
With more time under the heat, Tom's toast is finally up to scratch.
This is toast.
Yes! You made it, eh?
This is toast.
You made it, eh? You made it. Who wants the toast?
Who wants the toast? There's my first toast going out.
Time for some feedback on the toast-loving truckers.
Just wondering how the toast is.
It's very good. Strange. It tastes like bread that's been toasted.
That's good. That's how toast is meant to taste.
As far as Tom's concerned, his toaster is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And finally, he gets to taste the fruits of his labour.
And it's nice to be eating toast from a toaster that I made myself. Like in a truck stop where millions of mass-produced products pass through every day.